Hey, hi everyone. This is Tushar again, your host, and I welcome each one of you to this live session on Facebook. Today we have a very interesting topic about the overseas education, and the fact about not UK today, but we will be talking about Canada, right? So you guys, I mean, a lot of people have certain doubts about, and have that zeal to probably apply for Canada right now. And a lot of people are confused that whether they should go for a diploma or they should go for a degree. What are the differences between colleges? What are the differences between uh, universities? So we have kept this topic in mind, and we wanted to make sure that this information should reach out to each and every student out there who are concerned about that what exactly they should do right after their uh, 12th, right after their bachelor's, or probably if they have done any sort of diplomas as well, right? So we will start with Canadian colleges, right? So how exactly Canadian colleges work? What are a few of the requirements to get into the Canadian colleges? What are some of the top colleges in Canada? Uh, how much they would cost you while you are applying for certain courses, and what exactly you can apply there, right? So let's start with few of the Canadian colleges which I would recommend that students should choose. So there are colleges like Seneca, Centennial, Conestoga, Humbert, Douglas, Vancouver Community College, Sheridan, Niagara, Salt, George Brown, Georgian. I mean, we have a long list of colleges, right? And a lot of people have this doubt that if I have not done, I mean, as the prerequisite, Canada requires 16 year of education if you want to pursue your masters in Canada, right? So for all those students out there who have 3 years of education and have not done any sort of diplomas in India, they can straight away apply for any colleges in Canada if they have 15 year of education, right? I mean, all these colleges will welcome you with your open arms if you have 15 year of education, and you have if you meet the eligibility criteria more than 50, 55, 60% as well, right? All the colleges have comparatively are cost effective, are a little cheaper than uh, universities, correct? So all these colleges provides you with three sort of diplomas. So they have graduate certificates which are generally of 1 and 2 years. Then they have post baccalaureate diplomas which are generally of 2 years, correct? And then they have postgraduate certificates, right, which are generally of again 2 years, right? These are for the PGs, and if someone is applying for UG, we have three set of diplomas. We have 1 year diploma, we have 2 years diploma, and we have 3 years advanced diploma. So these are the best possible options for anyone who have just passed their 12th or who have just graduated. So now if we talk about the eligibility criteria of all these colleges, so mostly colleges require more than 55, 50%, right, to be eligible to all these colleges, right? And then there are a lot of some of the top colleges require even more than 60% as well, right? Wherein all the colleges does not provide you degrees, right? You won't be able to go for direct masters in all these colleges. You would have, but all the benefits that you are going to get post your master's degree, those would be the same. So let's say if you go for a 1 year of graduate certificate, for example, so you get 1 year of stay back. If you go 2 year of uh, diploma, PG diploma, or post baccalaureate diploma in Canada, you would get 2 to 3 years of stay back, right? Everything, I mean, a little, points will be affected while you are applying for PR if you do a diploma, but that would be just a difference of what, like 10 points or 5 to 10 points. That's it, right? Also, the students who are applying to all these diplomas, I mean, they could easily, fulfill their dream going to study abroad and just, if let's say if your diploma is for uh, 1 year, you can complete your 1 year of diploma as less as in 7 lakh, 8 lakh, 10 lakh rupees as well, right? That would be the cost which you have to invest, right? And probably you can reach out to your dream college, correct? Apart from that, I believe all the requirements remains the same. If you apply for a visa, you would have you should complete your IELTS, right? Your IELTS requirement remains the same. Your funds requirement remains the same as in GIC, right? Rest, it is less, it is very much cost effective. It is, you don't have to spend much on your diplomas as compared to if you're going to university, right? And if I would have to be precise, I mean, lot of colleges have, literally, I mean, Canadian colleges have literally amazing reputation, across Canada, right? I mean, every most of the colleges, and I would say I think every college partner with us, is affiliated and is recognized across the globe, across Canada, across, I mean, anywhere in the country, right? And your diploma certificate will be as valid as your degree could be, correct? Now, I mean, how about you can apply to all these colleges, right? You can always reach out to Leverage Edu, right? Our expert coaches will our expert student coaches will assist students out, for assisting them to apply to their dream college, right? So this is some bit of college, and I have kept a little bit of information as well. So I'll just talk about once we will do a clear kind of comparison between universities and colleges. Also, if you see all the universities out there, I mean, Canada has a lot of good universities, right? Some of the amazing schools, Canada have, right? And all the universities requires a 16 year of education, right? I mean, most of the universities require 16 year of education, and I mean, you go for a master's degree for 2 years, you get 3 years of stay back, right? You get a decent job. I mean, the universities have their good career services, placement cells. I mean, they would help you at best, to make sure that you will be getting a good opportunity across, in Canada. Okay. So now let me talk about the eligibility criteria of universities. So the eligibility criteria of universities are generally more than 65%, right? Uh, Most of the universities require 60, more than 65% to be eligible, for their courses, for their MS programs, right? And if you see some of the top universities in Canada, if I have to talk about, so we have University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, University of Manitoba, Ryerson, McGill. We have Regina, University of Windsor, Royal Roads University, HSC, Montreal, University of Manitoba. I mean, these are some amazing schools, in Canada, and they are really worthy of doing masters and probably have good recognition across the globe as well. So the requirement differs, depending upon what university you want to apply for. Uh, so generally, the universities like Thompson River, universities like Canada West, universities like Royal Roads or Winnipeg. I mean, these university would cost you somewhere around a general tuition fee for 2 years is roughly about 20 lakh rupees, 15 to 20 lakh rupees. Okay, but when you go, top the line, the universities like Waterloo, universities, University of Toronto, University of Manitoba, University of Alberta. I mean, these would cost you like 30, 35 lakh rupees as well, right, for 2 years of masters. Apart from these, the requirements are pretty steep. If we talk about they require also for their MBAs they require GMAT, and for their science program most of the top schools require GRE as well, right? Wherein you have to appear for GRE and you have to make sure that yes, you get a good amount of score to be a part of that university, right? So that they can probably give you an offer letter as well. Okay. So apart from this, the students who are really keen on applying to all the top schools, I mean, I have informed about a general brief on the university that what exactly could be your requirements and how exactly you could probably prepare yourself to be a part of all those schools, right? Let me talk more about how one can prepare for a university and how one can prepare for the college, right? So generally, the process to apply for these colleges, the process to apply, to make yourself prepare about how one can plan their journey, uh, right from thinking of that I want to go and study abroad and until they reach their college, right? So first thing, you have to collectively prepare all your documents, right? You have to collectively work on your IELTS. IELTS, having said that, IELTS is the mandatory requirement if you want to go for Canada, right? So I mean, other things can be so like PT, Duolingo could work while you are applying to all these colleges and universities. But at the end, to clear your visa, to apply for a visa, you required IELTS, right? So there, the requirement differs for UG and the requirement differs for PG as well. So I'll talk that at the end, but let me just brief you about the process. So you have to collect your documents and probably go to. I mean, the student coach will be assigned to you. It will be a part of Leverage Edu, and we'll make sure that we make an application to the respective college of your choice, right? And once your application is with the college, it would take you 3 to 4 weeks bare minimum, to get a revert on your application. And then once you get a revert, which is called as, your offer letter, conditional offer letter, then you have to accept it, right? And post that you will receive an LOA, which is letter of acceptance. So letter of acceptance is required to apply for a visa, right? So generally, if you're applying for Canadian college or Canadian university for in student direct scheme visa, right? So you have to make sure that beforehand you have paid the 1 year of tuition fee, right? And you have adequate amount of funds in your GIC account, I think, which is roughly about for if you're applying to colleges, are roughly about 10 to 12 Canadian dollars, right? Uh, After that, once everything is done, our expert visa team would assist you out, to file a visa application to Canada, and probably you get a visa in month and so, right? So this is something, the process which generally, we uh, make sure the process remains same, if you apply for college or if you apply for university, right? uh, Another part, the colleges out there in Canada, you know uh, I mean, there has always been a difference between a degree and a diploma, right? And yes, if you see, a lot of people have this perception, and yes, and most of the times the perception is quite right that if you choose a degree over diploma, that is more valuable and have more recognition. But if you see, I mean, these days, if you're going for a 2-year diploma in Canada, I think that is as equivalent as if you are doing probably a degree as well. I mean, you get a good job if you go to colleges like Humber, Douglas, Vancouver Community, right, and even Seneca. I mean, these are like what very good colleges in Canada, right, and they are very reputed as well, right? So I mean, you get a recognition, and you get a decent job post your 2-year diplomas or 1-year diplomas as well, right? Also, I mean, yes, your diplomas would boost you. I mean, a lot of students have these kind of queries as well, right? What if you know we uh, we can't apply for, and I mean, if they do, I mean, these kind of diplomas do not add to our PR points post reaching there, right? So I mean, they definitely do, comparatively to master's degree. I mean, as I initially told, the difference would be of about 5 to 10 points. But again, yes, there are scenarios wherein you can probably have a good benefit of doing a diploma and applying for PR then. That is one thing. Second thing, if you are applying for any university for that matter, right, you have to be very careful about the requirements, right? And also, one thing I wanted to add, I mean, there are a lot of students now who have doubt that if I have 3 years of bachelor's, would I be able to apply for universities? So, I mean, there are few universities who accept 3 years of bachelor's, right? There are couple of universities. I can probably name those universities to you right away. That they have the diplomas as well. So, like University Algoma University, Thompson River University have post bachelor diplomas, and they are universities as well. So we have exceptions, correct? And even these universities accept 3 years of bachelor's as well, right? If you are aiming to study at the university and you have 3 years of bachelor's, you can do that. But as a part of a secret, I'm gonna reveal here. So I mean, lot of people know about this, but I would make it easy for the students out there who is right now watching this webinar, that if you do not have 4 years of bachelor's, you don't have to worry at all. You can probably go for a 1 year of PG diploma in India, and then you can apply for any university for that matter, right? Because it is as equivalent as 16 year of education. So if you see, I mean, if you've got 70% in your bachelor's, you have 1 year of PG diploma, you would be considered to any university out there. Okay. So I mean, not also a lot of students says, I mean, they have a question that if we are applying to Canadian university, is it mandatory that we need to take a GRE or a GMAT? I would rather say, uh, not all the universities you require to take GMAT and GRE, but yes, some of the good schools that I've earlier mentioned, and I can probably name some of those as well right now. So schools like Ryerson, McGill, HSC Montreal, Manitoba, Waterloo, Toronto. I mean, you have to definitely, to get your place secure in these schools, you have to take a GMAT or GRE. But universities like Regina, Lakehead, Royal Roads, uh, University of Windsor, University of Winnipeg, University of Crandall, University of North British Columbia, right? I mean, North British Columbia, you do not require any sort of GMAT or GRE. I mean, these you just have to have an amazing application, right, to all these schools, and they would accept accept your application and would rule out the offer letters for you as well, right? So this is one thing. Another thing which I would like to add here, that a lot of students who have completed their 12th, right, and now or even they haven't done their 12th and probably have done their uh, diplomas after 10th, correct? So yes, even those students are eligible to go and study abroad in Canada, right? They can easily apply for UG diplomas, and there are bunch of UG diplomas in Canada, in Canadian colleges, and they accept a lot of Indian students, right? And even the bachelor's program are generally of 4 years in Canada, but if you don't want to give it a shot for 4 year bachelor's, you can definitely go for 3 year advanced diploma or 2 year advanced diploma, and your stay back remains the same, right? Everyone who is going to Canada are again allowed to work for 20 hours a week, right? And the immigration laws remain same if any student going to university or college, right? uh, Also, just to make it more clear to the students who really struggle with probably sorting themselves out whether what is right for them, whether they, I mean, if they have a good percentage, right, and if they have an intent of study abroad, and they really want to go to a good college or school, right? So how you can approach your choices. So I would rather say, I think anyone who's planning to study in Canada, I think they need to make sure their goals, right? So Canada, I mean, a lot of students are really concerned about that, whether the PR is exactly worth it through a student route, or whether it's not worth it through a student route. But I would rather say the students who are applying for a student visa and going to Canada, I think they should make sure that for good amount of time, till their studies uh, aren't over, right? And they have to make sure that they have to put their efforts into completing their diploma or completing their degree for that matter. Then only those points would be valid for you to make an application to permanent residency in Canada. That is one part. Second, what kind of IELTS scores are required? So if you're applying to colleges, generally most of the colleges require 6.5, no less than 6, right? And generally the visa requirement is also 6, no less than 6 in each component. So we generally request students who are and this is for PG diplomas, right? For masters, the requirement differs according to the course. For some courses you require 7 IELTS band as well, right? To keep to get an admission to that course, to that particular university. And if you are applying for UG, for few good universities, you are required to have 6 and no less than 5.5 for UG diplomas. And for bachelor's degree, you require 6.5, no less than 6 as well for few universities. So again, real-time scenarios, these depends upon what course you are applying for. I'll talk about some of the top programs in colleges which a lot of people are right now want to apply for and are really looking forward, and are boom in the in countries like Canada, right? So if I have to talk about the courses like interactive media management, the courses like strategic management, global business management, uh, marketing, then MBA, right? For universities, okay, courses like uh, uh, arts, design, right? Big data analytics. I mean, you would see all these courses, big data analytics, computer science programs, I mean, in diplomas, and you can pursue the diplomas of these courses as well, right? If you talk about courses in universities for masters, MBA is one of the the top shot course which everyone requires and really want to do in Canada. Then we have data science, MS in data science. We have business analytics. We have again masters in marketing. A lot of people go for management courses. A lot of people go for even computer science and uh, the computational engineering as well, right? So these are some of the courses which you can always check on if you are from the engineering background or you are from the commerce background, or probably you have a good amount of experiences. Also, most of the colleges are very precise about the backlogs and the universities, because entire Canadian colleges and universities are very precise about the backlog. If I say, I mean, a lot of colleges does not accept more than 8 to 10 backlogs, right? And extreme, there are exceptional colleges as well, wherein you can apply with also more than 10 backlogs. But again, that would be a real time scenario, case to case basis. Also, you would see budget is never been a factor. Canada is very cost effective, as compared to any other country. If we compared to UK, probably Australia or US, right? So I think this was all the journal information that I wanted to share with students out there. So I can see a few questions here, right? Uh, so we have 10th, then 3 years of diploma, then 3 year of UG. Can I go for masters? Uh, yeah, I mean, definitely you can go for masters. As I told, there are a lot of universities wherein you can pursue the master's degree, right? With 3 years of bachelor's as well, right? Then another question we have: masters in Canada is for 2 years. What is the estimated cost, which is cheaper, masters in Canada or UK? So, see, definitely, masters in Canada is a little cheaper than compared to UK, because you have 2 years of masters, and probably you can get some of the universities in 16 or 20 lakh as well, right? I mean, that totally differs that what kind of school you are targeting, what kind of universities you are targeting. Okay. And then if we talk about in UK, as I have talked about this in my previous session as well, UK have a different category of universities, right? And you can always check about the courses in the universities according to the budget that you have, right? For the good schools, yeah, even in this conversation, in this live session, I have informed that there are top schools wherein master would cost you about 35-40 lakh as well, right? So University of Waterloo, University of Toronto, University of British Columbia. I mean, these universities would cost you, and these are like what top schools in Canada. So we have another question, that is, I have double masters already. Can I go for masters again in Canada? So basically, Canada is very particular about the profiles and the intent of the student. As I informed that when I was asking about that, you have to be very uh, particular about your goals, that you want to go in Canada and study, right? So double masters, I mean, it's always that basically you really need to show the progression in your profile. I mean, one has to show the progression in that profile, that and have to justify through their statement of purpose, have to justify through the master through their progression, and probably in their profile, that whether how it is, I mean, justified, how it is needful of you to go for another masters, right? And definitely, if you have, you really, that progression really needs to be in your career for that moment, you can definitely go for the masters as well. We have, can we have a stream change in masters? That depends. If let's say you have done your bachelor's with some X program, and then you have a work experience into some X program, that would be considered too. Generally, the academic gap, whether it's a work experience, not a work experience of more than 5 years or 3 to 4 years, are not considered. How easy, tough is to land a job in UK without any work experience? Uh, so basically, I mean, there are a lot of students who travel to UK and do not have any sort of experience. So if you do not have experience and you want to, get a job in UK, definitely your career services are gonna help you a lot, right? So it's not that difficult, right? You just have to be very precise at what kind of job you are looking, what kind of course you are doing, right? So that depends. I mean, UK has a very vast sector into different things. If you talk about hospitality, if you talk about healthcare, if you talk about pharmaceutical, if you talk about consulting firms out there. So I mean, it's easy to find a job, but again, how well you represent yourself. So can you tell me, after the master, I have the 3 years of stay back, so total of 5 years in Canada. So what about the PR then? So there are a couple of ways to apply for an PR. So the first way is that if you get a work permit and apply for, you can immediately, after 1 or 2 years, you can apply for PR. That is one way of getting in PR. Another way of getting in PR is, so let's say if you pursue a master's, so there is some sort of score that you need to probably meet the criteria to even eligible for the Canadian PR. So the Canadian government have their draws every month. So there are two type of PR they give. So there are express entries, and there are the PNPs. The province uh, oriented PRs. So you can definitely apply to both, but again, that depends that what kind of score you're getting into. So I'm not aware about the exact current scenario, that what kind of score figure is that, but I believe that is more than somewhere around 470 or 480, 490 as well. What is the cost of living in Canada for 2 years during study? Okay, so the cost of living in Canada is roughly about 1,000 to 12, $1,500. So I would barely say on the lesser side, 1,000 to $1,200 a month, right? And again, the cost of living depends upon an individual, how well you are with your expenses, how well you can cut short your expenses, right? So, but generally, roughly about $10,000 a year, 10,000 Canadian dollar a year is more than enough to survive yourself. Hey guys, it was lovely to be a part of this webinar, and lovely to have a lot of people here on the webinar today. So let's call it a day, right? And we'll be meeting you soon for another session, right? On a different topic, wherein I can probably share some more knowledge about study abroad tips, right? And make it easy for a lot of students out there who really wants to plan their careers, who really wants to get into their dream school. Thanks, guys. Good evening, everyone, and bye bye.